Hey guys, my name is Maddox VR, and today we're going to be going over how to make an Avi in Unity for VR chat. Now, everything that you need to download is in my description for at least most Avis and what you just need to get started with. If you're making this Avi, so mine is the God Magician, you need to make sure that any assets you're adding also include the name and are made for the God Magician. Okay, it for that specific avatar. If you don't, you will have to use like Blender and like do all the scaling and all this, and that's just gonna be a lot of trouble. And what I'm doing right here is I'm going over where to download the avatars SDK in VRChat. You just go to the website and you literally click on downloads on the left side panel, and yeah, you'll have everything downloaded and all that. Unity does take a long time, okay? I have a pretty good setup and it's still taking a while. So it could be very, very difficult on your system or it could be very easy. It really just depends. Okay, let's get started. You're gonna open your VCC, create a companion, okay? You're gonna click on Unity 22 Avatar Project. We're gonna name this project name Tutorial, and I put it in my second drive just so I have more space later on. So you'll hit Create Project, wait for that to load. Now you're gonna be given all these managed packages, okay? First off, you're gonna need Gesture Manager, VRC Fury, and let's see, if your avatar already has audio link on it, you do not need audio link. You don't need the VR World Toolkit if you're not making a world. Modular avatar will come in handy for some avatars, but for this example, I'm not going to need it. The avatar that you're going to edit, you can find free avatar models online and free animations and all this. Just search up, do your research on some websites. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to import the textures first, and then I'm going to import the actual model afterward. So once I do that, I'm going to have a splash menu and in which I can choose my options. This might happen, this might not, but I choose the X version. I import that, and then for the camera, I'm going to set the X to 180 and the Z to 180. That way it's actually facing my avatar rather than looking at the back. And then I'm going to import my assets. Now I've imported everything. So first off, I'm going to be going over how to add music. Okay. Um, Pretty much I'm going to go to my dance animation shadows, and I'm going to do in, what does it say? In the name of love, okay? So I'm going to play this very quickly just so y'all can hear what it's going to sound like. We have this song. First off, you need to hit load in background, hit apply. You're going to move this music file into your hierarchy, and then I would recommend moving this volume down to like around 0.3, and then you're going to hit add component. You're going to hit toggle. You're going to hit add action, animation clip. Go to the right side of the animation clip, hit the plus. Then you're going to hit object toggle. Okay, so first off, I need you to put the asset for in the name of love, which is this highlighted blue box, and drag it to your hierarchy. Now, the reason why I do this is because if we add this to our avatar, it's going to animate the scene, but it's not going to animate the game. Okay, so for this highlighted blue box that we just put into our hierarchy, I need you to go ahead and push mute. After you do that, click on the empty box, and you're going to take this empty box from your hierarchy, click and drag to the game object when it says turn on right here, okay? For your animation, you're going to go to in the name. You're going to click and drag from your assets onto the tab. What this is going to do is it will combine the animation with the song. Now you can put any animation. So if I control Z, we can put get lucky in there. And it works. our menu path. Normally what I like to do is I like to make a sub menu. So I normally call this, let's say, mod / and then I'm gonna say another sub menu. So we're gonna say music / now when I add the / after the word, that means you just made that word become a sub menu to hold every other object. But if you just leave it, so like if I put love, this will be the actual toggle name because I did not put the / So now that I have that, we're gonna take this and you're just gonna drag it onto your avatar. Okay? That red box, I think we actually gotta drag that onto there as well. For this part, all I'm gonna do is hit play, which is gonna send me into the VR game scene pretty much. And I'm just gonna be testing out the toggle, so I'm just going to skip to that part. New from VR chat, expressions, mod, like we said, our music for the sub menu, and boom. Just like that, it works already. In this part, I am going to my clothing scenery, so I will be clicking on the folder, and then I will be putting that folder into my hierarchy tab. In this next part, I am pretty much looking at the right side and I'm trying to get rid of the clothing of the actual avatar. You can use the triangle to pull down all the submenus of the actual asset, and then you can just click the eye to hide it. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm getting rid of the clothing, and you notice how it has a missing texture. What you're going to do is you can just click on the harness or the top part underneath the asset like I am doing, and then you click on the material part. Once you click on the material part from the drop down, you can select a variant. And once you click that variant, you can pull up another menu in which it has tons of different materials from your whole assets folder. And so while you wait for this to load, you can actually just choose one and it should work. However, once you choose it, I'd recommend closing it out and then opening it back up again so that every time you click on something new, it will change the material. In this part right here, you'll notice that I'm looking over the red triangle, the red rectangles. You can just ignore that. To actually edit these, you just have to edit in prefab. The hips option when you're linking from needs to be underneath the asset of the object you're trying to add on. Okay, usually those hips you don't have to change anything. On this second part for the blend shape, you need to change it to the part of the body that is adjusting. Usually when you adjust this, it shows that it's expanding, but you notice that the body isn't expanding, and notice the clothes aren't expanding. It shows the actual object itself. For me, it was the asset underneath the body asset. So you'll just copy and paste that into that blend shape instead of having the name body right there. Once we have these two, I'm going to hit add component. We're going to hit toggle. Okay. So now I'm going to make this like our previous one. So mod. I'm going to label this one clothing. And now I'm going to enable this gray. Okay. Now I'm going to hit add action right here. And I'm going to hit object toggle. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this one over here. Just like so. What you're going to want to do is you're actually going to want to hit this button right here after clicking options, saved between worlds. And then you're going to want to hit default on. Okay, just click that button for me. I had this error right here where I tried testing it, but you realize that I still have the base skin not set. The hip bones cannot be found. So what you're actually going to do is you're going to take this asset and apply it to the avatar. Now when you do this, it's still going to say the same thing. But for some reason, if you click on a few different objects within the avatar and then you go back to that asset you're trying to apply, it will be there. And that's all you have to do. That's how you fix it. And so hopefully you don't stress over that like I did and spend countless hours. Continuing on to the gesture manager, you're actually going to go to expressions and go to the same submenu. So now you have two different submenus underneath mod. And then you'll click on the clothing option, which will give you gray. And then after gray, you can just toggle that on and off. However, the clothes that I imported also have their own submenu, as you saw as goth outfit. Goth outfit, you can change and toggle on anything about the outfit that you don't want or that you do want. But even when it's off, I would recommend hitting that top lingerie part because it's messing up the chest even when off. But that's pretty much it. God, I'm talking a lot, but here we go. For this next part, I'm going to be talking about a skirt and the radial setting that you can set. Okay, so I recommend this to anybody who has different textures, different materials for one skin, right? The one asset. So when you're adding the skirt, you can actually hit the toggle as I'm showing right now with a blend shape. So when we're looking at our toggle, you're going to want to do the same thing in the clothing, but make it a skirt this time. When you go to blend shape, you're going to import the same name that we used for the other assets. And then you're going to put down the skirt for the meshes. Now, when we go to the toggle, now we're going to add the flipbook builder. We're going to add page 1 and make an object toggle. And then we're going to import our game object known as a skirt. Make sure you set that to turn off. Then you're going to click the first plus. I do an example of the second plus and why that won't work because it doesn't say page 2. So once you have page 2, then you're going to import your skirt like we did again. Do not change the slot number. You don't need to change that. For the third option, you do not want to import the presets for the skirt or the assets. I mean, you want to import the materials, which was in that folder. After you do so, you'll do a different page for every material you have. Then you'll click on the options button and you'll click on the radial, the slide radial, and that's it. If you move the skirt, boom, black skirt, boom, white skirt, and at 0, it's off. And that is how you add a radial. Now, there is another person that I will provide in the description that does go over this as well. The only last thing I would say is for your VRChat SDK to actually upload it, do not hit splash screen. You'll get this. You actually want to click here, show control panel, and then you'll have, oh, sorry. I actually need to stop the simulation. VRChat SDK, show control panel. And then you're going to log in. So I'm going to log in right quick. After you've logged in, you can name your avatar anything you want. It can literally be this. I don't care. You can literally change it to anything. I'm going to label those two, which is a sexually subjective, adult language and themes. However, it is going to be private. So nobody can have your avatar. On top of this, this is your avatar. Just don't do anything with it that will get you banned. Because once you get banned, you're banned. Like, you're done for. So I'd have it set to private. For description, it could be anything like I said. So we'll do a heart. You can select an image or you can capture in scene. I could do this, fill in background. You can change the color. Post-processing, I normally like to have on. So then you can just hit capture, boom. For all these alerts that you see right here, you can ignore all of that. Unless you see a red octagon that looks like a stop sign with an exclamation point right in the middle of it, it's going to have an auto fix button right next to it. You just click auto fix and just agree to whatever it's trying to do. When we go down, there's going to be an auto fix button for a white comment. You do not have to click that. I don't click that. And then we go on to the build section. You come down to build type, which is your build, and you can do build and publish your avatar online or build and test your avatar. Then you have Windows, obviously we're on Windows. Click this, and then you can just hit build and publish. And just like that, it'll take, it can take from 14 to 24 minutes on my end. Um, I run a pretty decent setup with pretty decent internet. So it could take you longer or it could take you a less amount of time depending on your system and your internet. Yes, bear with me. I'm sorry for my raspy voice. And that whole video, I was sick that whole time and I was just really exhausted. But yeah, I hope y'all liked it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Good luck.